Welcome back. It's quarterfinal number 2 in this competition in the Beijing leg of the Asian 7 Series. This is a matchup between Thailand in the yellow and Hong Kong in the blue. It's a hazy morning here in Beijing. They're running the marathon as we speak. Would you like to be running in this piece, Super Dai?
Well, we've had a few of the pictures coming into the stadium here, and it's been amazing to watch athletes running with face masks on, running a marathon, 26 miles with limited breathing anyway, but with sort of surgical masks on. So it's incredible.
Have you had some feedback from your athletes about how difficult it is to perform in this environment?
They are struggling. Not just our athletes, coaches, and talking to other players at the tournament. We have some element of pollution in Hong Kong, but I've got to say I've never experienced these kind of levels. So it is difficult. It's affecting breathing. It's physically, your eyes are stinging. So athletes are finding it difficult.
Hood will kick off. Hong Kong in their blue strip. McQueen, as usual, gets under the ball, and Lee Jones is the beneficiary out to Hood. Tom McQueen, who's sporting a nice clean-cut look now, gets to the 22. Jones again, he looks up for work, coming back from injury and not being able to participate in the Asian Games. And here's the first break outside for Michael Coverdale, who likes lurking out there on the flank, doesn't he?
Good sevens again, good shape. Obviously, I'm very close to the guys, and just great sevens. You know, securing the kickoff, a wide ruck this way with great depth. Mike finds himself out there a lot because he's breaking as a prop from a contact area or breaking as a prop from a set piece. So often finds himself in that wide channel. He's been working on his pace at the Institute, a young 19-year-old, maybe 18-year-old kid on the block, and has been really impressive over the last couple of tournaments.
This Nick Hewson is his favourite player.
No, that is a concern, I've got to say. But no, Nick is a top man, and I know that Mike is learning a lot from Nick at the moment. Nick sat on the bench and hoping to get some pitch time after an unusual 20-metre dash yesterday to score his try in the second game. But again, looking at these teams, Mike, Thailand turning up with a very much changed team. Put a lot of pressure on teams in the last 2 tournaments, but seem to have brought some youngsters in this tournament, blooding new guys. So nice to see them blooding them, but probably not as strong this tournament as they have been in the last few.
We had an easy run against the UAE, 38-5, and then losing to Korea, 31-7. That was a game I thought they might be able to put some pressure on Korea, the youngsters, but as you say, also pretty green themselves. They managed to get possession here just on their goal line. It's Perapol. See a couple of good runs off him, just an 18-year-old. Try to break the line, but that's sturdy defence on Komchak. Little kick off the side of the foot, but Hood's there. Gets nice linkage from Tom McQueen, and McQueen gets a big step on the outside of Akarin. And that's good pace from Tom McQueen, who dots down for his 3rd try of the tournament. Work rate high for
from the Hong Kong guys. Big feature of the Hong Kong game this year with Gareth Baber coming in as the coach is that pressurising the ball and pressurising the opposition in defence, and again winning the ball really defensively. With Thailand having been forced into the kick from just outside their own in-goal area, and of course in possession back to Hong Kong and try.
Conversion's good from Hood. So Keith Robertson stepped up and had quite a bit of time yesterday, Di.
Nice to see Keith coming back into the tournament. Didn't have much pitch time in the Asian Games because he sort of tweaked his calf when he had his first 3 minutes back after 2 years out training to be a pilot. But it's great to see Keith back, and great to see that Gareth now has options for Jamie. Jamie's fresh coming into this game now, exposed only for probably a maximum of 14 of the minutes he played yesterday. So gives Hong Kong a lot more options and fresher legs, and Kadulu's doing the same for Alex McQueen. Kadu having been out for a year with an ACL reconstruction, so things coming together well for Gareth and the team at the Institute.
Thailand again just trying to escape their 22, but Hong Kong secure in defence. Advantage here for Thailand. But again, it's very suffocating stuff, the defence and the environment here at the Chaoyang Stadium. And again, it's a surrender of sorts, a 5-metre scrum for Hong Kong and an ideal attacking platform here.
Again, feature, Mike, as you can see, again, the pressure, the intensity on the Thailand boys within 10 metres there has forced the in-goal area mistake, and an attacking scrum 5 to Hong Kong, and prime position to open up another 5 or 7 points.
How was the atmosphere in the camp after the Asian Games? Obviously, there would have been disappointment to see Alex McQueen scoot around the scrum for another try. Third try of the game. Good work from McQueen.
Yeah, easy score. Yeah, disappointing. You know, I don't want to say too much in terms of we've analysed it as a group of performance countries. We struggle, unfortunately, inconsistency in the middle. So there were some critical mistakes made in the middle of the field. Say no more, and you know, it took the game Japan's way, and it's critical now moving forward. I know ARFA are addressing it, that come next year, the Olympic qualifiers, we need neutral referees from the IRB to ensure not that the referees are not neutral, it's just that the competition, the domestic competition, limits the development of referees outside Hong Kong and Japan, because the other nations don't have intense performance leagues. So it's difficult for those referees to experience intensity created in these finals, which is up at IRB level. So I know ARFA were talking about it, and I think it could be addressed as we move forward.
Hood restarts, pokes the ball into space. Well, there's a big clash in midair with Varty, who's just come into the field, and we'll warm him up. Big smash with an opposite. Lee Jones again, looking hungry, and Varty snaps it up and scores the try, 4th try before half-time for Hong Kong.
It's all about possession, isn't it, Mike? The kick-off has become the set piece, I suppose, of Sevens rugby over the last 4 or 5 years, and again here in Hong Kong dictating and dominating the kick-off area, winning the ball either straight from kick-off or within the first 2 or 3 plays by putting the team under pressure, and as a result 4 tries coming from really the kick-off situations. I often think, Mike, as well, that that's the end sort of coached area in many different nations, that we just accept the kick-off's a kick-off. But I know we focus hugely in Hong Kong on it, and I know that Japan do, and the top sides in the world are focused hugely on the kick-off situations and making sure winning the ball back is critical within the first few phases, or indeed, you know, off the kick-off strategy.
And it certainly pays dividends, that's for sure. And marking over the weekend again as Varty goes up, not the tallest of men, but doing a great job there, helping his team win that ball back. Varty at first receiver, busy performance from him. Coverdale with a lot of pressure in his face, just a little knock on there. So it'll be half-time, and Hong Kong looking good for a semi-final berth, 22-0 over Thailand.
Again, it'll be interesting to see now at half-time, 22-0 up, in control of the game, what Gareth Baber, the Hong Kong coach, does, whether he makes some changes to rest some of his key players, or whether he feels he should give continuity now on day 2. So interesting for me, having coached the Hong Kong team for a number of years, Mike, that I'm looking at different philosophies, and watching is real nice for me to look at Gareth and the team now, Kane Jury, and then the slight differences in terms of the way they manage the group, and certainly has brought the best out of them over the last 3 or 4 tournaments.
When you look back as a coach for the period that you were in charge, is there any disappointments or anything you would have done differently at particular moments or in general?
No, I think when we look back to it, I think, you know, 5 years on now, 6 years I've been in Hong Kong, and almost Gareth coming into the setup, the Institute of Sport supporting our Sevens program, it's almost made it seamless, and what people in Hong Kong have become used to now is medals, and they've become used to winning Asian Series and new Asian Series tournaments, and days gone by that wouldn't have been the case, but consistently now we expect to win medals, we expect to win tournaments. And significant this weekend is that no team, Japan and ourselves are the only team that have won the Asian 7 Series over the years, championship, and no team has gone undefeated in the Asian 7 Series in the 5 years of existence. So what Hong Kong played for today is, this tournament is to actually win the Asian 7 Series with 3 cup wins, something that's never been achieved. So it's, I got no regrets. It says Rowan posted his 4 silver medals. He'd like a gold one in his cabinet, but he's on his 4th in that period. They've been silver medals, obviously, to Japan, and they're great rivals. So no regrets. Just keep plumbing on and qualify for the Olympics next year.
Good. Start of the second half. And with a big mountain to climb here. I'd be happy just to get out of there.
Kadu Lee and Jack Capon on the field for Hong Kong. Changes made at half-time by Garth Baber.
Maybe the first time in this match they've been in Hong Kong territory, but no possession. Lee out to Coverdale. Finally get him down. Good strong run from the youngster. Vati to Capon. Woodward can't deal with the bouncing ball though, so here's Thailand's chance. Good tackle though from Tom McQueen on the outside. Here's Petapol, youngster. Again, some good composure here on defence, and Vati up very quickly off the line and scrambling. Very strong defence and good pressure.
Great intensity by the Hong Kong team after that mistake in midfield.
Here they are on attack now. Capon takes the crunch, looks for support. Yeah, a little isolated there, but eventually Hood gets there. McQueen, and it opens up nicely for Kato Lee. And good run, and as you say, very good to see him back, the youngster, coming off some injuries and getting rewarded with a nice try.
Huge local talent, just completed his degree at Hong Kong University, having been educated overseas in the UK, and had a bit of bad luck with his reconstruction, but allowed him to get his degree, and now he's joined the Institute full-time from June. So we've got huge hopes for Kadu coming in full-time, only 21 years of age, having just completed his degree. So things are looking good for Kadu.
Well, that's one area you don't struggle with in Hong Kong, is it? There seems to be a conveyor belt of talent at scrum half.
Yeah, it's one area that we're not short in many other areas, but Keith Robertson coming on the field now for Jamie Hood, giving Jamie as a skipper a well-earned 5 minutes rest, and another opportunity for Keith to get his international career back on track.
Talking to him at breakfast yesterday about the possibility of getting to Rio, so I think that's spurring him on.
And also Yukon Singh coming on for Tom McQueen out wide.
McHewson. So no changes here, but same tenor. Hong Kong pressuring in defence, and it's too much for Thailand to bear. Woodward this time goes over for a try.
Max Woodward coming through a age grade system and disappearing again, as it happens in Hong Kong for 4 or 5 years. Went and did his degree in Cardiff, God's own country, Mike, and returning after then looking at his masters and what a great acquisition he's been. Again, only 23, a centre in 15-a-side rugby, but he's now our big key ball carrier up front, and is probably the most improved player that we have in the Hong Kong squad at the moment.
He's put in a lot of minutes this year, hasn't he, in the series? He's been ubiquitous throughout and hasn't let anyone down. What's the latest on Rafe Morrison? Another guy whose star shone brightly last year.
Well, interestingly, you know, Rafe is the opposite end of what Max has done. Rafe has gone off to Edinburgh University, so we are unlikely to see him in a Hong Kong 7 shirt for the next 3 to 4 years. But he's in touch. He played for our under-20s in the recent Asian Championships, of which we qualified for the JWT, Junior World Trophy, sorry. So Rafe is still about, and we'll monitor his progress up in the performance squad in Edinburgh University for the next 3 years.
There's Hewson. Cracks the line. And Woodward, the try scorer, Tavati out wide now. Inside the 22 again. Vati again stepping in. The base of the ruck, and the Lee, who's usually there, zipping around in midfield. Nice versatility from the Hong Kong team. And there's Vati again. He's popping up all over the place, isn't he? Good work rate from Ryan Vati. Again, the way that they recollect themselves here, the Hong Kong team. Real good under pressure. Houston holds the ball up nicely. Now there's a spark of a chance outside. Robertson to Capon. Oh, beautiful step from Capon. Little swerve. He's got some pace too. Too much for the Thailand defence. And Jack Capon this time scores his first try of the tournament.
Again, Jack just coming back from 4 years overseas in Cardiff again, bizarrely. Having completed his degree, again came through our under-20s captain 4 years ago. Again, only 22, but again, having done his university studies overseas, again, another young player, Hong Kong born, coming back into Hong Kong and impressing Gareth, and getting a full-time contract at the Institute is just making such a big difference for these youngsters returning to Hong Kong.
How difficult is it for a player like Keith Robertson, who's working full-time for Cathay Pacific and staying up with the regimen, the training regimen that these guys are on every day at the elite
It's certainly tough, but Keith being Keith, what Keith did, he went to become a pilot because he sort of does 3 or 4 days on, long haul trip as he's training as well, and then of course he has 4 or 5 days off, and so he joins then the Institute full time. So he's a dedicated guy and knows how hard he has to train. So he manages his time superbly well. Hence he's still in the squad and coming back from quite a difficult time, a knee operation. 2 years out of the game because he's dedicated and wants to play for Hong Kong and every opportunity.
Yukam Singh decides he wants to try and just smashes his way forward. And we've seen that a couple of times from just backing his strength at the Asian Games as well.
Nothing subtle about that, Mike.
No finesse at all from the flyer. It's obviously working for him. Near 50 points now for Hong Kong. Bit of a rout here for Thailand.
It's nice as well in games like this as you build towards the semi-final and final is that every player's having some good pitch time, at least 5 or 6 minutes each. And it's great as a coach to be in that position.
Just in mid-air there. Poor timing from Woodward, so Thailand with a penalty. Nice run here. It's good work from Akarin. In fact, it's chucked an eye, but it breaks down there. Full-time whistle blasts. Can Hong Kong get to 50? Woodward just holds it up. Here comes Singh, losing his footing. So Vati, he decides on the pass to Houston. Houston out wide. And Woodward this time, who has Capon in support. Lovely little pass too. Sensed where he was more than saw it over his right shoulder, and Capon gets his second try of the game. So that's the 50 up. Well done.
Great way to finish the game, and yeah, some lovely little play, as you said, Mike. This is again a key element of knowing where people are, and this team are training together full time. So again, evidence that again with the Institute and being full-time athletes is bearing its fruits for Hong Kong.
So that will be the final whistle, and Hong Kong with a good performance in this quarter-final, dismissing Thailand 55 points to 0.